This is exactly what the San Francisco Giants need. In an offseason where Buster Posey has been extremely outspoken about the need for pitching both in the starting rotation and the bullpen, and the new manager already understands the need for a strong bullpen, this fit in this upcoming free agency is one of the most obvious ones across all of baseball. We're going to break it down here on SF Giants Digest, so make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated on all of the breaking news, rumors, all the speculation surrounding the San Francisco Giants this offseason and this winter. Getting into this video, we are talking about former Giant and hopefully soon to be Giant once again, Tyler Rogers. Now, for those that don't know, Tyler Rogers was traded to the New York Mets this past July, just about 2 days before the trade deadline, in a year when the Giants front office finally decided to pick a direction and sell. They sold Tyler Rogers off to the Mets, as well as Camilo Doval to the Yankees and Mike Yastrzemski to the Royals, in what ended up being quite a surprise after acquiring Rafael Devers earlier in the year. But with the way the Giants were playing at the time, they dumped a couple of guys that were going to be heading into free agency, so they got some good things in return. This Tyler Rogers trade ended up leading to the Drew Gilbert kind of phenomenon at the end of the year, and some could say that this trade opened the door to Tony Vitello being the manager of the San Francisco Giants. But that is not what we're discussing today. We are discussing the importance of bringing back Tyler Rogers early on in free agency. Now, I think it's clear that Tyler Rogers wants to be back. Once he was traded to the Mets, the veteran right-handed reliever, whom San Francisco traded to New York on Wednesday, donated his beloved beer fridge to the Giants clubhouse, ensuring a tradition that began under his brother Taylor Rogers will continue. This is from NBC Sports Bay Area. Tyler said it was a parting gift. He made sure to note that there's a lot of wine in the fridge as well. So clearly, he left his fridge there because he knew he would be coming back to the Giants in 2026. But jokes aside, this is a fun little wrinkle in the conversation. But getting down to the numbers and the serious piece of this conversation, before getting traded to the Mets, Tyler Rogers was an extremely talented reliever with the Giants. Year in and year out, he was one of the most consistent relievers in all of baseball. Here is his Fangraphs page. 2025 was arguably the best year he's had in Major League Baseball. A 1.98 earned run average in 77 innings pitched. We know Tyler Rogers is a workhorse. The submarine style of pitching allows his arm to recover a lot quicker than guys that throw 100 miles an hour from over the top or even three-quarters. So he is a workhorse in today's game. And you can kind of see here, outside of 2020, where he had a ballooned ERA in the shortened COVID year, he's been a very good reliever. A 1.98 ERA this year, then a 2.82, 3.04, a 3.57, a 2.22. We talked about COVID year, and then a 1.02 in his debut season in just 17 innings. But not just is he effective in terms of not allowing a lot of earned runs, the innings pitch totals are amazing. I mean, this year 77, last year 70, 74, 75. His career high in 2021 when the Giants were very good, 81 innings pitched. He is a savior for a lot of starting pitching staffs and for a lot of bullpens. He can rack up innings like really no one else in Major League Baseball when it comes to relievers. He has just been very solid. One, I guess, concern you could say is his strikeouts per nine has gone down kind of every year since 2023. But this year, even with a 5.59 strikeouts per nine, he had the best year of his career with a sub-2 earned run average in almost 80 innings. So he's a guy who's not going to worry about getting a ton of strikeouts. Yes, it helps, but he can get so much weak contact with the rising slider, the fastball down the middle at 83 miles an hour. He just keeps guys on their toes, and he gets a lot of weak contact, a lot of weak pop-ups, a lot of small ground balls to the infield. He's a guy who induces a lot of weak contact, and that's how he kind of gets his outs, I guess is the easiest way to put it. Move forward to what he did with the Mets after the trade deadline. He threw 27 innings with New York, only 3.29 strikeouts per nine, so very low strikeout numbers for him once he got traded. But still, a 2.30 earned run average in almost 30 innings, extremely effective. I talked with Ryan Finkelstein, who is the host of Locked On Mets, a lot, and he talked about just how underrated Tyler Rogers is in terms of his availability. A lot of people don't realize how available he is. He's pretty much open to pitch every single day for the most part. If if need be. Obviously, the rest days are needed in between, but if it's a close game, Tyler Rogers is most likely going to be pitching. I mean, he leads Major League Baseball in holds since 2021, so he's been an effective reliever for a long time, and it makes sense why the Mets wanted him to, what they thought would be help them get into the playoffs. Now, one reason why I think it is extremely important for the Giants to bring Tyler Rogers back is because of the uncertainty that is in the Giants bullpen. Obviously, Randy Rodriguez was a breakout star this year, but he just got Tommy John, is going to be out for what I would assume is all of 2025 or 2026. Excuse me. Ryan Walker, you hope for a bounce back year, but he will be there next year. But he's not going to be your closer. Spencer Bivens should be back. He had a solid year. He's another guy who can kind of throw a lot, be available all the time, but he's not as productive in terms of not allowing a lot of earned runs as Tyler Rogers. Then there's Joey Lucchesi, Matt Gage, lefties. But Tristan Beck, Carson Seymour, Trevor McDonald, J2 Brubaker, I don't know if those are the guys you necessarily want in your bullpen on opening day. They're not as reliable. Tyler Rogers is a huge step up in terms of reliability as compared to most of the names on this Giants depth chart. Joel Peguero had some flashes, but he's a completely different style of pitcher. Eric Miller was very good last year, but he's been hurt all season. Hopefully he's healthy to open the season, but again, a lefty, so it doesn't really make a difference. I genuinely think that this offseason needs to start with bringing back Tyler Rogers, and if I'm being honest, I think you should pay him whatever he wants. With the elevated salaries in today's game, he's probably going to want a good chunk of money just because he's been so good across his career. But I think Buster Posey understands how important he was to this bullpen for the first half of this year when they had the best bullpen in Major League Baseball for the first 2 months or whatever it was. So I think Buster Posey understands how important Tyler Rogers is to this team when it's doing well, before getting traded, of course. And then you look at the Giants' overall bullpen. After the trade deadline, they were the 21st ranked bullpen in baseball. It's not awful, but you want to be a lot better if you're trying to compete for, a division title, for a pennant. If you want to just get into the playoffs, you have to be at least in the top half of bullpens. We saw how the Padres bullpen basically carried them into the postseason. And the Giants ranked 21st with only .4 F4 throughout the after the trade deadline with a 3.97 ERA. Just completely different, almost the exact opposite from what we saw from the Giants bullpen through the first 2 months of the season, when you had Tyler Rogers, you had Randy Rodriguez, Eric Miller. These guys were absolutely unhittable. They had the best bullpen in baseball. It was a sub-3 ERA for like 2 months that's when they were playing their best baseball, so it makes a lot of sense. The starting pitching didn't have as much pressure to go 7 innings every night like they did at the end of the year when the bullpen was absolutely depleted, and it just would take a big weight off of the starting rotation's shoulders to bring back Tyler Rogers, just because he's going to be available not every night, but the majority of the nights throughout a 162-game season. Now, I put out a tweet about, I want to say 3 weeks ago, right after the season, and I said that, the Sleeper Twitter account said, should the Giants bring back Tyler Rogers? And I said this should happen in the first hour of free agency. I don't think that's a hot take, and I still hope that this happens within the first hour of free agency. I got a lot of pushback on that tweet, which I was extremely surprised about, because once he was traded, a lot of people said, how sad they were, how upset they were, because he was a longtime Giant since 2019, but also a very effective piece in the bullpen. But I got a couple of people pushing back on it, saying, no, he's not that good. But I had to respond and say, this guy leads Major League Baseball in holds since 2021. He has a 2.71 ERA since 2021. He has been a very good reliever, and numbers like that are a net positive on whatever team he wants to go to. Whoever has Tyler Rogers, he's going to be a net positive for them across a full 162-game season. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. That's just how it is. He also, for, I don't want to say the first time in his career, but he performed the best against the Dodgers and Padres this past season. It was, I believe, a 0 ERA against those teams. I could be mistaken. I don't have the numbers pulled up right now. If you want to look in the comments of that tweet, they are in there, but he performed very well against the Dodgers and Padres this season, so who knows, maybe he figured something out against those teams about how to attack those hitters that, for the most part, the stars of those teams have been there for a few years, so who knows, maybe he figured something out against those guys, and he's now going to be even more effective because for the Giants, they struggled mightily against the Dodgers, the Padres, even the Diamondbacks a little bit. The only team they beat up on in the National League West was the Rockies, which I would sure hope so because they were one of the worst teams in the history of baseball this past season. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this idea. I think it is absolutely necessary to bring back Tyler Rogers, no matter what he wants to get paid, no matter how many years he wants. I think you bring him back because he has shown year in and year out that he is one of the most reliable, if not the most reliable, relievers in all of baseball. He's one of the most consistent relievers in all of baseball. He's available almost every night, and he might have a few blow-up innings a season, but for the most part, he keeps the earned runs at an extreme minimum. Let me know down in the comments what you think of the idea of bringing back Tyler Rogers, and make sure to subscribe to SF Giants Digest.